Hey guys, Mr. Colson here. Welcome to Art. Today we're going to be talking about the concept of foreground, middle ground, and background. And then we're also going to look at some apps and some software that can help you get started in digital painting. That was my head exploding in case. No rest for the artist. Gonna create some things. We got art to draw me details and all. Ain't nothing worth doing easy. Now you can't slow down, can't look back. Now you wish you could. No rest for the racer because our online school's so good. Really? Oh, sorry. Well, listen, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some software so that we can start digital painting. Now, I used to love digital painting. In fact, I went to art school. I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta for computer animation. We used all kind of software. But my favorite software was a digital painting app where you take a stylus and you draw on a pad and you can see what you're creating on your screen. That just fascinated me. In fact, my favorite artists are artists that are digital painters. I'll link some work from my favorite artists in the digital classroom and also in the video description. The app I'm going to show you guys is called Google Canvas. Let's get to it. Let me show you how to find it. Okay, I Googled Google Canvas and it pops up right on the web. My Google just went off on my phone. It brought up Canvas right here. So I click on that, and I can put the link in the video description too. I'm going to click on New Drawing here, and here's my brushes. It's so easy. You've got, let me give you a tour. You've got your undo button, your redo button. That undo button right there is going to be your best friend. You don't have an undo button in the art room, and so many times I wish we did. This top button right here is your color palettes, so you're not really stuck with these colors. You can hit custom and change it to any tint or shade of that hue that you want to use. This one is the tool that changes your brush. So you have your brushes here, and this is the tool that helps you make the brush get bigger or smaller and changes the opacity. This is the pencil tool. No matter how opaque I set, you need to just play with this, but no matter, I can set the opacity all the way up with my pencil tool, and when I use it, it still has this sort of fuzzy look to it. It's trying to simulate or emulate an actual graphite pencil mark or a colored pencil mark. If you're really looking for really nice lines, you're probably going to want to stick with the pen tool. You can see that it kind of blobs up in places, like when you first press it down. See how it's like right there? So you have like a thickness to it when it first comes out. And then this is the marker. Everybody knows what a marker does. I love how it overlaps and kind of makes it thicker in those places. And this is my baby right here. In fact, I probably wouldn't have used this app if it didn't have this brush right here. This is the charcoal or chalk brush. I don't know what it's called actually, but it looks like a stick of charcoal to me. See, the eraser is going to erase things on a layer instead of just make it white. Now, what is a layer? Layers are your friend, and we're talking about foreground, middle ground, background. So I want you to come over here, and there's a little box right here, and you're going to create at least 3 layers. 1, 2, 3. Okay, stop. You know what? Before I show you this lesson about foreground, middle ground, background, and actually try to get you to do this, you know what you should do? You should just play with these brushes. Play with the eraser, play with the brushes, mess around with the undo button and the redo button. Get really comfortable in the program first and just scribble. And then try to draw something nice. You know, maybe you like to draw mermaids or spaceships. Do that now. Pause the video and go scribble, seriously. Alright, did you do it? Did you get that out of your system? It's important to get comfortable when you're using new software. So now I want you to get a blank canvas, erase everything, and create those 3 layers like I showed you. Okay, and just to show you that one more time, there's a plus sign right here, and it says add layer whenever you hover over it. So we're going to click 1, 2, and now I have 1, 2, 3 layers. Now the way these work, the bottom is the background. So think of this as like the bottom of the stack. Then this is going to be the middle ground, and this is going to be the foreground, so the things that are closest to us. So we want to click on this one down here. We're going to draw this kind of like we're drawing a real painting. You know, we're going to start with the background first. So I'm going to start with yellow. Oh, I need this a lot bigger, so I'm going to make the size really big. Let's go to the charcoal. I'm going to create the clouds. Now these are going to be big fluffy sunset clouds that are going behind my mountain. And notice I'm kind of going side to side. I guess I should be just sort of like rolling these around. This is a big cumulus cloud, if you know anything about the different types of clouds. I'm sure you'll learn that in science in some grade level. And notice that I'm stopping at the horizon. This is my horizon line here. I'm not going to go lower than this. Let's make a nice sunset with lots of different warm colors. So I'm going to go with an orange here, and I'm just going to fill in some coming down. I'm going to let the top of my cloud be lighter, and the bottom of my clouds kind of are darker, the bottom of my clouds. I'm going to go with a red here and add some really red down here. And this creates the illusion of a sunset. At the top of my clouds, I make them lighter, and the bottom of my cloud, I make it sort of thicker and harder for the sun to shine through, so it's darker. Now I'm going to do the sky around this, and you can use blues and purples, it doesn't matter. I'm also at the horizon line here, so I'm going to come around and get pretty close to this. And use lots of different colored blues and purples in the sky, and just kind of blend it in nice and thick. To get a white out here, I'm going to try to lighten up the top of this cloud. Now once I have sort of a swirly, smoky edge to my clouds here, I'm feeling really comfortable. That's my background. Now I'm going to go to my middle ground, and I really want to draw my mountains here. So I'm going to go to my charcoal stick, and I'm going to click on a really nice purple here, and I'm going to draw my mountains on top. Now these are kind of the focal point of the piece, so you want to place them somewhere nice. I'm going to draw another mountain right here. This one's farther away, so let's do this. Let's make it a little bit lighter and use our knowledge of atmospheric perspective. For the middle ground, I'm actually going to go ahead and do the water down here. And this is how I would actually do the painting physically. I would start with the sky, and then I would do the mountains, and then I come down and do the water down here. It's starting to look very Bob Rossy, and that is fine because Bob Ross is the man. Don't let anybody tell you different. I'm going to switch some other colors. Purples in my water, dark blues. Just have fun with this. You know what I should be doing as I come down? Let me see, I should probably use some bigger brushes down here. And then as I go up, I should use smaller, tiny brushes up here, and do smaller strokes. Because these lines would be farther away, and these lines down here are closer. Now, let me look at my layers. What have I done? Holy cow, okay. So there's my background layer, this is my middle ground layer, and now I'm going to do the foreground. These are the things that are on top and the closest usually. So in the foreground, let's create the foliage. And we want to start with a black charcoal. I'm going to fill up a lot of area here, so I'm going to go really black, and I'm going to do really big and really opaque, like full on. Because I want to make a big old triangle right here. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's like 2 triangles. These are going to be the shadows underneath the leaves the shadows in between the bushes and everything. We want to start with a black because we're going to put the highlights on top of it. Let's get this a little more shapely, shall we? I'm going to change the size, and I'm going to make this more like these longer fingers kind of coming in across here. Cheating into my river. I kind of like to think of it as almost like a river. So I'm creating these little fingers that kind of poke in so it can curve and twist down the canvas here. Okay, it's looking good. We've got that basic background, middle ground, foreground. So now we just need to add some details. One of the details I want to add is I want to put highlights on the mountains. Earlier in the year, we drew forms, and one of those was a pyramid. And to make it look 3D, we would simply draw a line down the middle, and then you have two sides after you connect the bottom. And one side was the light side, and one side was the dark side. And you can just shade that in, and now it looks like the light is hitting this side, and this side is the shadow. You see where I'm going with this, right? We've got some mountains, and we can do more of an organic line. And then have a light side and a dark side. So to get to my mountains, I guess what I could do is I could hide this the foreground, and click on my middle ground so that I'm only drawing on these mountains. And then I'm going to come over here and get my charcoal piece and add those highlights. I think I want to add some trees. Start adding some warm fall colors into the foliage here, and just have fun with it. Create some highlights and shadows. I'm going to use reds, yellows, and oranges. I really need to stop there, or I'm just going to play with it all night long. I gotta say though, Google Canvas is missing some really powerful tools that are out there on some free programs. Like Krita is a free digital painting program. My Paint is the one I used for years and years. It's really great. Some of you guys have Photoshop or Corel Painter. Those are kind of expensive if you don't have those yet. And I think that GIMP is on your Chromebooks. GIMP is very powerful. It's also free, but I don't know how well it runs on your Chromebooks, but give it a shot and let me know. There's just some options that we're missing out on: filters, blur tools, masking, flipping things around. I mean, if you want to do a reflection, instead of doing a reflection, sometimes you could just make a selection and flip it, and then you'll have the perfect reflection in the water, and you can just blur it out. There's lots of little tricks and really cool techniques that you just can't do in Google Canvas. But what a great learning tool it is, and how fun is that? Hopefully this was a great refresher on the concept of foreground, middle ground, background. And I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to see your creations. Please send them to me, my email, or in the digital classroom. See you guys soon.